Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Diane. Today I'm sharing with you my first impressions on the Monochrome Manga Club selections for the month of December. So the Monochrome Manga Club is an in real life manga club that I host, and in this club we read 2 first in a series selections, and we are currently doing 2 full series reads. So the selections for the month of December were Volume 1 of Black Knight Parade by Hikaru Nakamura. This one's published by 7 Seas, rated teen. We also read Volume 1 of Spy Family by Tatsuya Endo. This one's published by Viz, rated teen. And then the 2 series that we are reading are Haikyuu by Haruichi Furudate. We read Volumes 4, 5, and 6. This one's published by Viz, rated teen. And we are also reading Tokyo Revengers by Ken Wakui. This one is published by 7 Seas, rated older teen. So as this is a first impressions video, I will not be speaking about Haikyuu nor Tokyo Revengers, but if you're interested in hearing my thoughts on these, you can check out my Desus 19 diaries for the week. So, let's start off with Black Knight Parade. So this is a story about a guy who is kind of, I guess, unlucky in life. He just has not been able to land a regular job. He's working at this convenience store. He's been there for like 3 years, and he's kind of feeling like he's a disappointment to his mom because he can't land like a regular job. And he's got a coworker that like constantly takes advantage, and he's just not feeling great about life. And he takes a day-old, like, has been thrown out from the convenience store cake. He fishes it out of the trash. And on his way home, he runs into a food stand. Starts talking with the guy there. This guy is dressed in a black Santa outfit. And he ends up getting kidnapped by this black Santa. And ends up going to the North Pole and being told that there are 2 Santas. There's a red Santa who caters to all the good boys and girls, and there's a bad Santa, Black Santa, which caters to all of the naughty children. And this guy has ended up on the naughty children's list because he has stolen this cake. And so he ends up like having to work his way out of being naughty at the North Pole. And so he's trying to get accustomed to his life there and figure out exactly like the ins and outs of this place. And he meets a couple of people, and so it just follows him like getting acclimated to his new life in the North Pole. This one took a really, really long time for me to get into. Normally when I read a volume of manga, I can usually read it in a night or 2 depending on how exhausted I am. I will say I have been very exhausted because work is very, very busy for me right now, and I've been putting in a lot of hours. But this one took me 3 nights to read, and it just was not holding my interest for like 3/4 of the volume. However, the last quarter of the volume brought a lot of interest to me. I have questions. It definitely brings up some points where I'm like, okay, where are we going with this? We got to hear the like backstory of one of the other people that he meets there. And it kind of gives you a little glimpse as to like what the scale of punishment, I guess is what I'm going to say, is for the people that are brought to work for this Black Santa. And it just made the story more interesting. I think part of the reason I wasn't so interested in the first 3/4 of this volume is because our main character, he isn't really likable. He's definitely a hot mess. But there's nothing really like special about him. I don't really feel like he's a character I want to root for. But with the questions that I have now, with things that were uncovered in the last like quarter of this volume, I'm interested to see where this story is going to go. So I will definitely be continuing at least to the next volume. This is definitely going to be one of those series where I'm going to have to reassess after each volume. I'm definitely not going to be picking up the rest of whatever's out of this. I think there might be 4 volumes out right now. But this is a story that is set with the Christmas, like, thoughts and feelings and things in mind, because we're talking about Santa Claus and, you know, how kind of Santa and the North Pole works in regards to the good, you know, boys and girls. And then you see the other side where what happens with the naughty kids, right? And so it's one of those stories where it's set during those holiday times, but it's got like a mysterious element to it. It definitely has a little bit of an uneasy feeling because there's lots of stuff that our character doesn't know about how this place works and how the like sentences, for lack of a better term, are given and things like that. He doesn't know what the other people that he's working with have done to land themselves there. Like I said, we did get introduced to the backstory of one of those characters that we have met so far, which is very interesting when you start to think about, okay, this is what had happened and this was the punishment for it. Like, it definitely is something to think about. And there are a couple of other things that I'm curious about as well. And so, yeah, interesting. You know, normally stories that are set around the holidays have a heavy romance vibe to it right now, and this is definitely not one of those things. And I appreciated it for that. So we'll definitely be checking out at least the next volume, but it did have a very, very slow start for me. So I enjoyed it. It wasn't like extremely enjoyable, but in the end I did actually enjoy this volume. The art style is a little bit different to what I'm used to, but the story grabbed me enough towards the end where I'm interested now in what will be happening, not only with our main character that we're following, but in like the area that he's in as well. So that was Black Knight Parade. And then we read volume 1 of Spy Family. This is a very, very popular series. I have had this as a suggestion from our members for a while, and I've been putting it off and putting it off and putting it off because I wanted more volumes to come out before I dove into this one. I am somebody who likes to stay as far away from hyped series as possible, and at this point there's just kind of no getting around it. And so I decided to go ahead and choose this one for a selection for December and satisfy that want from our members and finally get into the series and see what I thought. So this follows our main character here on the cover. His name is Twilight. He is a spy, and he is tasked with a mission to infiltrate a school. It's like a private academy, and in order to do that, he needs to acquire a daughter and a wife. And so he acquires both of those as we get through this volume. You see what kind of like jobs he works. You get a taste of it. You see how the family unit comes together and the beginning of his infiltration into this school. What he doesn't know about his wife and daughter is that the wife is an assassin, and his daughter is a telepath. So that kind of brings a whole new element into this story. And I will say that I really enjoyed this volume. I had no thought that I wouldn't, but now I'm kind of regretting starting it because there aren't that many volumes out. I think there might be 12 or something. And I am somebody who does not like to get to current publication and then have to wait for volumes, which is probably going to be the situation I'm going to be in if I decide to go ahead and continue reading from here, which I kind of really want to do because it was that enjoyable for me. There are definite comedic moments in this series, in this volume. And I foresee it being more comedic as we go through. There were definite characters in here that reminded me of other characters I've met from other series. And the whole, like, spy situation is definitely interesting. The case that this story opens up with, which is not the case that makes him have to get the wife and daughter, but the case that he's kind of working at the beginning was hilarious. Like, the whole reason for that case was hilarious. And so I'm really looking forward to continuing with this series and, like, watching our family unit, like, get accustomed to each other and see where this goes for them. And I enjoyed all 3 of the characters that we get for this family unit. And I'm looking forward to continuing. So, yeah, exactly the place where I thought I was going to be when I started this series. Wanting to continue, wanting to read more, wanting to see how the case goes. Yeah, definitely exactly what I expected and where I expected to be when I finish this volume. Really enjoyed this. Definitely will be continuing. And now I'll need to go ahead and collect the rest of the volumes that are out because I stopped after a while because I'm all like, okay, what if I don't enjoy it? I didn't think I wouldn't enjoy it, but, there's always that thought. Maybe it's just not what I thought it was going to be. In this case, it is. It definitely is. I really, really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to continuing. So that's what I thought about our selections from the month of December. Before I let you go, I do want to let you know what our selections for January are going to be. So as for the first of the series selections, we're going to try something new with my members in 2025. And I'm going to have one of them suggest selections for the club to read, and then we are going to choose one of those selections as one of the volume ones. And so the first member that was up brought us 3 selections, and we chose one of those selections. So the selection that was chosen was volume 1 of Night of the Living Cat by Hawkman, illustrated by Mecha Roots. So this is, it says, a new horror comedy about adorable threats in a post-apocalyptic world. I know nothing about this series, so I'm going to go ahead and read you the summary. It says, in the near future, a unique disease has swept across the planet, a virus that transforms humans into cats, and the horde is expanding. Since if these adorable kitties snuggle with a human, the human is transformed into yet another cat. A small group of cat-loving survivors is trying to escape the madness, but how can you defend yourself against a threat you just want to cuddle and pet? This wild new take on a post-apocalyptic survival tale will make you roll over and purr with delight. So I'm actually looking forward to this one. I had heard about it. Like, I've seen this cover before, but I don't really read a lot of post-apocalyptic stuff now. I used to several years ago, and then it kind of got oversaturated for me, and I stopped. And so I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what I think about this, because I think it's going to be cute. Yet the post-apocalyptic background will bring a bit of an edge, I think. And so I'm looking forward to reading this one and discussing it with our members. So that is the selection that was chosen by our members. And then the selection that I chose for us to read is going to be Young Ladies Don't Play Fighting Games, Volume 1. This is story and art by Eddie Ejima. This one's published by 7 Seas, rated teen. So this says Forbidden Love for Video Games. Kuromi Girls Academy is a refined, elegant school that expects the very best in deportment from its young ladies. Aya got into this peerless rich girls institution on a scholarship and hopes to grow as lovely as her fellow student and idol, the so-called Shirayumi-sama. But Shirayuri hides a terrible secret. She's a trash-talking, combo-chaining, newbie-stomping, ruthless, hardcore gamer. Could a mutual indulgence in no-holds-barred video game combat grow into a deeper rapport between these two girls? So I thought it might be interesting to read about gaming, as we haven't read about it for a while. And this seems like it could go into a Yuri direction, but I'm not sure if it actually will. But I thought it might be interesting to read. And so we'll be reading volume 1 of this. So those are our 2 first in a series selections. We'll also be continuing our series reads with Haikyuu volume 7, 8, and 9. And then we'll be continuing with Tokyo Revengers with the 4th omnibus, which will bring us volumes 7 and 8. So that's everything I have for you today. Let me know down in the comments below if you've read any of the selections I talked about today. Will you be joining us in our selections for January? If you are interested in joining us in any of our reads, you can definitely do so by commenting on any of my first impressions videos, or you can check out our Discord, which is linked down in the description box below. If nothing else, and you'd just like to let me know that you are here, if you could leave me a Christmas tree emoji for Black Knight Parade, that would be greatly appreciated and would really help me out, and that will do it for me today. So I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're all safe and healthy, and until next time, take care and smile always. Bye.